Hi, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I'm very excited to have another interview. And as you can see, we have the lovely Margarita from Edge of Paradise. So I guess I kind of just introduced you a little bit, but if you could go ahead and introduce yourself and the band just a little bit here to get started, that would be great.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm Margarita, and I'm the singer of Edge of Paradise. We are a cinematic rock band from Los Angeles. Just came back from our Europe tour. Our album is called Piano, and we like to rock out with you guys. So that's a bit about us.
Okay. So I understand that you have been on the road quite a bit here recently. In fact, you just got back not that long ago, right? A couple of days ago.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So where have your travels taken you so far this year?
Yeah, so we've had quite a bit of hiatus, well, due to the pandemic, and then we released a new album. So it's been really great to get back on the road and play the new music. We went to the UK. Before we went to the UK, we did a few shows locally in Los Angeles and surrounding areas. And then we went to, I believe, 11 different cities in the UK. And then we had 2 Belgium shows. And now we are back. We'll have more shows later this year, and then lots of touring in 2023.
So I guess you got to do a lot of sightseeing as well as you were on your travels. Any place you really loved being?
Yeah, I know every town has its own unique beauty. So I try to film a lot, and I've been posting a lot of our sightseeing and just, road you experience fun things. The hard thing is that, you get to the venue, you have like at 3, so we only have a few hours to really go out and see the town, unless you day off. So, what really, all the cities are really pretty, but I think stood out to me was Edinburgh. Really beautiful. Of course, London, and I was surprised, like really, small towns like Darlington, Ipswich, towns you don't always hear about. So much beauty there and so much history. So that was always really cool to experience.
So you have a couple of albums out. Have you been over to Europe before touring, or were you mainly kind of around the States before?
Yeah, first time we went to Europe, we went to the Netherlands in 2017, and we played a festival with Delane. It was called Femme Festival, and they used to have it. Oh, they still have it. They're picking it back up, but it's an annual festival. And actually, a lot of people, some people that organized it, were at our show in Brie, Belgium. So it's really great to see them 5 years later. Then in 2019, we did a full European tour with Sonata Arctica, and we hit close to 30 countries. And, we were all excited because after that, we were supposed to tour US and Canada and then South America and then go back to Japan. But it was 2020, so none of that happened. So we recorded an album instead. But now it's, it's really cool that things are opening up. It's been great.
Well, I guess let's talk about touring a little bit more here. Do you enjoy the big festival atmosphere, or do you like smaller clubs where you can really connect with people? What's your preference?
Well, I like big shows, and I like because when you have a bigger stage, it's a bigger show. You can do a lot more. So I do like that. Then and because after that show, well, at least we always try to, after the show, go out and meet everybody, because we always loved to say hello to people, because without them we're nothing. So it's always really cool to know them and grow our world that way. But when you're playing smaller shows, it's also really cool. But you, it's more of a performance, but it also has some cool things to it. So I don't know, it's hard to say, but I mean, it's where we can.
So right now, I know you have a couple of different things going on, but I just saw that you are working on putting together a music video, which you filmed some of while you were on tour, correct?
Yes, yes. Yeah, we filmed that before our show in Brie in Belgium, and we crossed the border into Netherlands. And there's a really beautiful church called St. John, and it has a really cool neighborhood. Well, it's a small town surrounding, the church. So it was really cool to film there because we're not in Europe every other day, so we wanted to sort of take advantage of the moment and capture something unique. So I'm pretty excited about it, and we're gonna put some live footage within the video and just some cool things we filmed during the tour, and of course the footage of the cathedral.
Is that something you enjoy, making these little kind of mini musical movies? Is it a fun process?
Yeah, I mean, I really like that. I really like making music videos. We have quite a few. Some of them were really big productions where we worked with other people, other directors. Some of them were kind of do-it-yourself video, but it takes a lot of work. And these days, through the years, I kept teaching myself how to edit and how to film, and you kind of learn through the years and get better at it. So it's something I enjoy doing, and it's fun for me. So hope people like it once it's done.
So was the whole plan to record in Europe, or did it kind of hit you when you were there?
No, we didn't plan it. Well, in the back of my mind, I thought if we had an opportunity and we were in a cool place, we'll try to do that. And I kind of told the guys, the hard thing when you tour, the first part of the tour, we were on a tour bus with two other bands, Temperance and Carved, and you bound to the schedule of the tour bus. So we didn't have much freedom. The last two shows, because the tour bus didn't cross into Europe, it stayed in the UK, and had to get on the ferry. It was like a 7-hour ferry trip. So we had our own vehicle there, so we had a bit more freedom to, do what we needed. If we felt like we could take hours to film, we just drove there and filmed. So
Okay.
kind of worked out, and we were almost late to the show, but we made it.
Good. So I guess we should talk about the album now a little bit. But the first thing that I want to ask you is, on some of your social media accounts, it says music from another world. And I like that, because as I was trying to think of how to describe your sound, it didn't really fit for me any one little thing. And then when I heard music from another world, I thought, yes, that sounds right. So how did you come up with that?
Part of it is because we, with our album Universe, started to have this sci-fi theme. Some of the themes are based in space and sort of larger than life. So that started to evolve into us kind of giving into those themes, and it's something I love. I'm a big, like, with music, every song, the setting of the song is always some larger than life idea, but within that, it's still very human and very personal, but it has that sort of larger than life otherworldly themes and settings. And I think it's just me wanting to create that reality, alternate reality, and invite people to be a part of that. So yeah, it's fun. It's kind of like our thing now, and it's a big part of my personality, I guess. So,
So are you all sci-fi fans?
oh yeah, of course.
What's some of your favorite stuff?
I love Interstellar. I love Inception, Star Wars. I love I grew up watching Star Trek. I love that. Anything that has to do with space and space travel and sci-fi. I also love a lot sort of futuristic ideas about artificial intelligence and where our future is heading in that regard as well. So
I'm a Doctor Who fan myself, so that's where I pretty much start with sci-fi.
oh yeah, that's cool. No, I love all of that.
So speaking of larger than life and kind of out there, I have to tell you, one of the things that strikes me most when I hear your music, especially the new album, is your voice it's larger than life. It really is. And I think that's one of the things that makes your sound so unique is I haven't heard anybody else that sings quite the way that you do. And I'm going to compliment you just a little bit more here before I ask another question. You have a really incredible range, especially on the higher end, but then you can pull it back in and do kind of this, I don't know, breathless, almost more sensitive thing, a little bit of grit in there sometimes. So really, first of all, just incredible voice. Have you been singing pretty much all your life?
Well, thank you so much for your compliment. Appreciate them. No, I haven't actually. Never thought I'd be a singer. I played classical piano my whole life. I started singing when I started the band. I did some singing in high school. I mean, when I was little, when I went to music school and we had a choir class, but nothing special. And then in musical theater, they kind of kicked me out of there. So they were like, "You're better at crying, so stay in regular theater." So yeah, I never really sang until we started the band, and then I had to figure out how to sing. And then I think what helped me is having I always focused on what the song needed, and then whatever I hear in my head, like I have to figure out how to do it with my voice. And it took a while to figure it out, but eventually I think it's a never-ending evolution. But today I'm a much different singer than what I was 10 years ago. So it's kind of cool to see yourself evolve in that regard, and it's I'm looking forward to maybe figuring some new things I can do in the future. So
Well, that's actually, you're kind of seeing into the future here and figuring out what I was going to ask next. I think evolution is a great word because when I listen from album to album, I can hear an evolution there, bringing us to the unknown. And it's my favorite. I love it. And I think, I don't know, I think that's how a lot of bands end up working. They grow, they figure things out from album to album. So your newest one should always be, I think, your best work to date. And I certainly believe that. But yes, I think as a band, I hear you evolving into something really fantastic. I can't get it out of my head right now. So can you tell me about the songwriting process a little bit? Like, does the music come first, the lyrics, the vocals? How does that all kind of come together?
yeah, sometimes it depends on a song. On The Unknown, we started to tap into this more cinematic sound, and part of it is me really exploring what I could do with the keyboard and some sampling. So I like to sit at the keyboard and create some instrumental music, and while I'm doing that, I start hearing melodies. And the interesting thing is I usually go with whatever I hear first. If I try to if I don't like something and I try to force it, it never works. So the first idea, if I get an idea, then I kind of go with it, and it sort of becomes this keyboard demo, and then I give it to Dave, and he puts guitars on it, and we start evolving it into more of a song. Then once we have the structure, we do things a bit backwards. We go to our recording studio with Mike Plotnikov, who's our co-producer, and I lay down the vocals. So we figure out the final vocal track. Then once we have the final vocal track, the song starts taking shape. Then we put down real drums. And then from there, the foundation is there. We start doing guitars, bass, and then I kind of record the keyboards. Some parts I keep from the original idea, but most of the time I sort of rebuild everything. Then some songs, like maybe some heavier songs, Dave starts with a guitar riff, and then we sort of go back and forth, but it's kind of the process.
I love, again, more compliments here, but I love the sound, because right now, and I think it's a good thing right now, but there are so many female fronted bands out there. And I think it's great for women, and it's great for rock in general. And so to set yourself apart, you need something. And, you know, for me, one thing again is your vocals that sets it apart. But also I find this really nice mix of that really kind of heavier sound, you know, not only the guitars, but the drum and the bass track in there as well. And then there's just that little bit of keyboard in there. And I find that so many bands either rely too heavily on the keys, or they're trying for some kind of crazy metal sound that doesn't seem to fit in. But I feel like you guys have kind of that perfect blend musically. And I know that's something that you've probably been working on trying to get to.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I mean, part of it is because, you know, sometimes we fight and Dave's like, you have too many keyboards. I'm like, you have too many guitars. No, but it's, you know, we always try to balance it out, because at the end of the day, we are a rock band. And when we play live, it's still about because I don't play keyboards live. One day, you know, actually on our shows in Los Angeles, I had the keyboard on stage, and for some parts I did a little bit, but you know, I'm more of I have to be of singing, because these songs, I don't think I could ever sing and play them at the same time. It'd be impossible. But yeah, I mean, it would be cool to have like an orchestra on stage one day, because but you know, for now we are a rock band, so the keyboards are just that something to add. So it doesn't take over. It just adds to creates that cinematic feel. But at the end of the day, we still want the emotion and the rock, and you know, to be behind the music.
Do you have a favorite song from the album?
People, it's you know, people always want to know, and I do. I mean, the thing is that every song, it's like your kids in a way. You know, you don't have to say a favorite. I don't know, because
It's okay. You can pick one, and we won't tell the others.
All right. I would have to go with The Unknown, just because it's a very meaningful song for me, and it's just one of those songs that also it sort of wrote itself. That song came in like one day. Of course, recording it was, you know, a different process, but it came together really fast, and it's one of those songs that kind of meant to write. I feel like, so definitely one of my favorites.
Are the lyrics, are they personal to you when you write them?
Yeah. Every lyrics, you know, I mean, sometimes like they are, I do definitely use my imagination, but they stem from very personal feelings and experiences. So yeah, every word is my heart and soul.
Tell me about your musical influences a little bit. What did you grow up with? What's kind of, what are you looking at?
Yeah, well, I grew up on, until I was like 12, 13, the only thing I heard pretty much was classical music, because I played classical piano. I heard occasionally, my dad had VHS tapes of Queen and Led Zeppelin. My dad was into like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, the Beatles, and he played guitar sometimes. And my mom, she liked Queen, but you know, we did have classical music mostly played in our house. And then we used to go to like the operas, and my cousin was an opera singer, so it was like a big part. And then when I got into maybe late high school, actually college probably, that's when I started to discover other things. And I think first heavy band I heard was Symphony X, and actually we might tour with them, so it'd be cool to kind of find them come full circle, because I really loved their music. I still love their music. I just thought they had some crazy keyboard solos, and just I love the singer and the music. It's rock and metal, but it has those classical influences. I think that's why I was drawn to it. Then I went through a Marilyn Manson phase. I like System of a Down, Korn, Nine Inch Nails, Rammstein. So, but I also like 30 Seconds to Mars. I have a broad spectrum of music.
I think that's good.
Yeah, like Black Sabbath. But Ronnie James Dio was probably the first singer that I really started to look up to when I started singing.
Wow, you just said the magic words to me right there. I think Dio is probably my favorite all-time metal vocalist. I mean, on his own and with Black Sabbath and Rainbow and all of the things that he did, his voice for me says rock and roll. So I like that you've said that.
All guy, and it's so fun. Every word was so much feeling.
And he was a little bit out there too with his lyrics. He liked a lot of castles, and he obviously he loved rainbows, because he mentions that in every other song. Yes, I see why you would like that a lot. But I also wanted to say that I think classical is such a great influence on metal in general. It doesn't just have to be progressive rock or something like that, but I think sometimes classical was kind of the metal or the rock of its day. And you can really tell bands that listen to that and that have kind of an appreciation for it, I think.
Oh yeah, well, there's nothing. I mean, it's so heavy, like listening to Beethoven or like Bach. Those pretty heavy pieces right there. So definitely.
Do you have a favorite classical piece?
Yeah, well, I always really loved Rachmaninoff's Second Concerto. Probably one of my favorites. But yeah, I mean, so many cool ones. Actually, the band Apocalyptica, they do a lot of renditions of these classical pieces, and they do really cool versions.
Okay, so we talked about your influences, but I want to hit you right now with what's the last thing you listened to? What are you really loving right now?
Well, last thing we were listening to were the bands we toured with.
Oh, yeah.
With Temperance and Carve. They're really great bands. So we always exchanged our music, and we listened to them a lot. Also, it's because we're writing our next album, and at least for me, when I'm making music, I don't really listen much to other things. It just kind of happens that way, because you're always so focused on making your own that you sort of don't really listen much. But well, there's this I really love listening, and also like
well, you kind of beat me to the next question then too. I was going to say, so what's up next for the band? I know you have the video going on, but I assume you're working on some songs for whatever you're releasing next, whenever that might be. I mean, the album isn't too old, so I'm sure you're working on some things then.
Well, we have a deadline with our label. We have to turn in the next album by December 15th. So pretty excited about that, because it's going to come out at the beginning of the year. So we're kind of halfway into writing it. And it's shaping up. It's sort of a continuation of The Unknown. And it's really shaping up to be an epic album. I'm even more excited about it than well, I don't want to say that because the unknown is, it's our latest, and we're really proud of that music. But every time you work on something new, you get really excited about it. So, yeah, it's we heard we had one song already mixed and mastered. It's called The Faceless, and it's very cinematic and rocking. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Good. I was going to ask, is there anything epic, any kind of a big Odyssey type of song heading into this next album?
Yeah, this album is going to have a good variety of songs. For example, that one I mentioned, The Faceless, it's very, it's not your traditional song, but it's still, it has I feel like the chorus is catchy, but it has that thing where it sort of transports you to a dimension of the song where you really kind of have to let yourself feel the song musically, because it is very epic. I don't know, it's always so hard to describe, especially when it's something new, because I haven't really talked about it. So I'm trying to think how to describe it. But some songs are more on the cinematic epic side. Some songs are very upbeat and very uplifting, more rock. Some songs are very sort of, they're kind of like an experience. They sort of just kind of take you on this story through music and lyrics, a story-driven song. And then some songs are very industrial. We have one that's just really heavy and industrial, and it's called This Is Personal. So that one should be really cool. But yeah, I'm excited about it. It definitely has a different collection of songs.
I'm excited to hear it too. So the last question is something that I usually ask everybody, and that is there anything that I did not ask you today that you are dying to give an answer to?
I don't know. It was pretty. Your questions were pretty awesome. I think we covered a lot of ground. I just want to say thank you to the listeners, to people that listen to our music, and anyone that discovering us. Welcome to our world. And also I do a lot of artwork that's inspired by the music. So if you guys feel like checking it out, check it out.
Yes, I saw that on the website. Definitely, folks watching, go check that out. A lot of really cool stuff for sale on your website, probably more than people would expect. So definitely
Yeah.
go check that out on the site.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. So, but yeah, I think we covered a lot of ground, and I hope we come play in your city pretty soon.
I hope so too. There are some nice venues here. I'm out in Pennsylvania, so you need to take an East Coast trip and come see us out this way.
Very cool. My fiance is from Pennsylvania.
Oh, what part?
What part? Philadelphia.
Okay, I'm over in that direction, so just plan some shows over that way.
Yeah.
What town is it?
Wait, what town is your town?
I live near Pottsville, actually.
I was born and raised in Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania.
Oh, all right. Well, there we go.
What's up, man? How are you?
Yes, I'm familiar with that whole area. I usually tell people Pottsville, and they know Yingling beer, so they have a pretty good idea where that's at.
Yeah, you guys are our high school rival of all things. Pottsville extremely well.
Nice. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys out this way at some point then.
Yes, yeah, but I think we're gonna have a US tour probably first part of next year. Maybe some dates later this year. I don't know if we'll come to the East Coast this year, but definitely next year.
Okay. I look forward to that. I look forward to the new music coming out. And for everybody watching, if you have not heard the album yet, please go check it out. Like I said, once I listened to it, I was hooked. I couldn't stop. Even still today, I was listening to it some more. Thank you very much for coming out and talking today. I know you have a very busy schedule, and I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's been really fun talking to you, and hopefully soon. So.
All right. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you for watching. and have a great day. We will see you later.
Thank you.